Top 10 source from the 80s action figures. Toy lines.
The 1980s, a time when fashion was weird, music was great, and greed was good. A decade that began with the assassination of a music legend and ended with the fall of the Berlin Wall. And during the intervening years we were breakdancing in the street, puzzled by the Rubik's Cube and listening to music on Walkmans. On TV we were watching the A-Team and Miami Vice, and our cinema screens were graced with many of the best movies ever made. The 1980s was the decade of the boombox, the home computer and the yuppie, when everyone had big hair and we were consumed by consumerism. But for those of us who were children in the 80s, the decade was defined by some of the best toy brands ever created. And in this video we're going to count down the top 10 best 80s action figure toy lines. So stay tuned. Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome to the Analog Toys YouTube channel, where we're obsessed with bringing you the history of vintage toys and action figures. And kicking us off in the number 10 slot is the real Ghostbusters from Kenner.
Of course I remember those.
When the first Ghostbusters movie was released in theatres in 1984, it was an immediate smash hit, and its cultural impact was felt across the globe. But if you were a child in 1984 and you wanted to rush out and purchase Ghostbusters action figures, then you were destined for disappointment, because there was nothing available. We would have to wait another 2 years, and when we did finally get our hands on Ghostbusters figures, they were based on the animated characters in the real Ghostbusters cartoon, and not based on the actors in the film. The action figures are nicely sculpted and stand just shy of 5 inches tall, and all 4 Ghostbusters are represented in the line, along with other key characters such as Slimer, although Kenner chose to call him the Green Ghost instead. While this is an iconic 80s toy line, the reason it doesn't rank higher on the list is due to the inclusion of a very boring playset, a significantly undersized Mr. Stay Puft, an Ecto-1
boring playset. That firehouse or whatever the heck that was called, that thing is worth so much money now you'll start crying. Somebody wasn't or whatever he just said. And this here, somebody gave that to me, or I had it from somewhere. They brought all this stuff back, so of course somebody loved it. You know, they brought this back, and they made the realistic one is probably like $300. So what do you know? Come on now.
That can't even carry all 4 Ghostbusters at the same time, and figure accessories that are so fragile they can break just by looking at them.
Can't the other 2? Oh wait a minute. 2 in the front, the one on the roof, that little whatever that laser or that chair is, and the other one in the other car. What are you talking about?
Sideways. Oh, color me relieved. Taking the number 9 slot on the list is Rambo and the Force of Freedom.
That should be higher now. That's Rambo. Come on now. Rambo was big in the 80s.
Another action figure line to be based on a spin-off animated TV series, as opposed to the movies that popularised the brand in the first place. The Rambo and the Force of Freedom toy line was produced...
Now let's stop it right there. We're stopping it so early. Those figures were rough. And some of them hard to find. I never even heard of the ninja, or what's her name, or this guy here until like 30 years later. Now the firepower Rambo took me 100 years to find him. And then this Rambo here, this is the one I had Troutman. This Rambo looks like the Rambo from First Blood Part 2. He's even got the little necklace and the bandana on his head. Look just like the Rambo from First Blood Part 2. Those figures are classics. I didn't even know Coleco, that was the video game, wasn't it? I didn't know they made the same people made their action figures made the Coleco vision. But yeah, those were something serious. And the weapons, they were pretty good and posable. And they had a little belt with the knife inside of it, and he got the grenades hooked on the side. And I think on the back of his belt he had like the little throwing knives or something like that. Yeah, Rambo. They didn't mess around with the Rambo figures. They took them serious when they made them.
By Coleco, and was first released in 1985.
85, yeah.
12 different action figures were included in the first
Ooh,
wave, and the characters stand approximately 7 inches tall. Each action figure is supplied with an abundance of accessories in the first wave.
I remember I always wanted this guy, because the only ones I had back then was the Rambo, regular Rambo, Troutman, and I think this man's General Warhawk. I know nothing about all these other guys up here. Oh, and this, I always wanted this guy here, the Gripper. Never could get him. Probably cost you arm and a leg now. Probably, if you're lucky, maybe $50. He's probably more than that, worth more than that.
And the characters stand approximately 7 inches tall.
And this guy here looks like the guy from First Blood Part 2 when they were trying to electrocute Rambo on that metal gate. He's like, "Oh, you're strong," and they kept turning it up, and Rambo refused to talk. That was the roughest thing. Oh boy, spoiling the movie, but yeah, most of y'all seen that by now, but it's a classic.
Each action figure is supplied with an abundance of accessories.
Yeah.
And there are some quite nice face sculpts
Did a good job, see?
with Colonel Troutman being a real highlight. The range was also afforded a number of vehicles and a quite large playset.
Those vehicles,
unusually though for an 80s, real highlight. The range was...
I know Iron Ken was talking about the vehicles. I know they're expensive as crap now online, but I'm pretty sure, because they said these figures were over 7 inch. I'm pretty sure these vehicles can fit the classified, but the vehicles cost you an arm and a leg. I'm pretty sure these vehicles right here can fit the G.I. Joe classified. He's good as hell at making the customs. He probably make this a green tank or Jeep, whatever, 6-wheel Jeep.
Also afforded a number of vehicles and a quite large playset.
Yeah.
Unusually though for an 80s toy line, the playset was the headquarters for the bad guys. Although officially based on the Rambo and the Force of Freedom cartoon produced by Ruby Spears Entertainment, you can bet Coleco were trying to cash in on the popularity of the Rambo character, who became an 80s icon thanks to the film starring Sylvester Stallone. But since these movies were R-rated and definitely not made for kids, some toy experts were quick to criticise Coleco for introducing a toy based on a character that some thought glorified violence. But controversy aside, Coleco did provide us with an exciting range of figures and vehicles that were a hell of a lot of fun to play with.
What year is it anyway? 1985.
Coming in at number 8 is Kenner's Superpowers line.
Oh yeah, DC. You squeeze the legs and they start punching.
A strikingly beautiful collection of action figures.
Those were
from
rough.
The 80s. Kenner's Superpowers toy line was based on DC Comics' vast roster of superhero characters. And the line included such icons as Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. First released in 1984, these action figures stand slightly taller than the more common 3 3/4 inch scale figures that were featured in many other toy lines at the time. And most of the figures included an action feature gimmick, with many other toys.
That's got to be, cause I think I seen it at Vintage Toy Store. This got to be from the late 70s. This is super old. Ooh, I don't even. Yeah, this is because 80s was the Secret Wars, Marvel. So yeah, this is super old. But yeah, I remember these superpower figures. In the 80s, I had Superman, Batman, and that green dude. I think that was it. And I think the Flash. Yeah.
At the time.
Martian the Manhunter. That guy right there.
Which unfortunately limited their articulation. A few of the figures in the line do come with accessories.
I had him too, that's right.
But many of them do not. And while it is disappointing that Kenner never gave Batman a Batarang accessory, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because the Batman action figure was sculpted with closed fist hands, rendering any accessory useless. Although Batman was never afforded any small weapons
car was
or
badass.
Kenner did make up for it with the inclusion of the Batmobile, and this interpretation is one of the best toy versions of the Batmobile ever made. Despite a few drawbacks and some frustrating design choices, Kenner's Superpower line will always be remembered as one of the most stunning ranges of 80s action figures ever produced.
Let's pray this works.
I had Robin too, but
Number 7 on the list of the best 80s action figure toy lines is the Transformers.
Now hold it. They should be in the top 3. What are you talking about? Robot turning into car turning into robot. Come on now, that should be way. That should be way higher.
I have a checkered history with Transformers, and many people believe that I don't like the franchise. But it's actually the cartoon I dislike, not the toys.
Wow.
But having said that, I was still reluctant to include Transformers on this list, because I don't really consider them to be action figures. But I also knew someone would hunt me down and assassinate me if I did not include them here. Hasbro's Transformers toy line was devised when the company obtained the rights from Japanese toy company Takara for two of their most popular brands, Diaclone and Microchange. The toy assortment included a variety of vehicles and other inanimate objects, such as pistols and cassette players, which could transform into robot action figures. Despite the glaring scale issue where a cargo truck was actually smaller than a German pistol, Hasbro bought in Sunbro Productions to produce an animated TV series that would smash together these ridiculously out-of-scale toys and create a mythology that would go on to capture the imagination of an entire generation of children, and one that remains just as popular today as it was when it first launched. Although I have mixed feelings about the Transformers concept, I can't deny the brand's immense popularity, and Hasbro's Generation 1 Transformers toys went on to become one of the company's defining brands, as well as becoming one of the most iconic toy lines of the 80s.
Ravage into Teltran 1.
Coming in at number 6 on the list is The Adventures of Indiana Jones. Kenner's Adventures of Indiana Jones toy line was considered a retail backfire at the time of its release, because the toys failed to capture the attention of early 80s children. But fortunately for Indy, this is a list of the best action figure lines and not a list of the most popular, and this modest assortment of toys from Kenner is one of the most highly detailed lines of the decade. The range included several 3 3/4 inch scale action figures that featured a sort of hybrid of the articulation offered by Star Wars and G.I. Joe. But where the toy line really comes to life is with the high quality vehicles and playsets. The Mappa Mini playset is intricate, the Desert Convoy truck is stunning, the Well of the Souls is one of the most detailed action figure playsets I've ever come across, and the Ark of the Covenant, with its glorious fact metalized finish, is easily the most beautiful action figure accessory ever created. I love this toy line, and I doubt I'll ever fully understand why these toys spent so much of their time in the 80s in clearance bins, because Kenner's efforts here are far superior to many other more popular toy lines of the era. The quality on display in this range is simply undeniable, and The Adventures of Indiana Jones is definitely worthy of the number 6 slot on this list.